Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
For all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reach the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
All right there. How the devil are we all? I'm going to start. Apologies. I know we are a tad late. I have a note from my mother here. We are having problems connecting with Elton. I can see him there. I can see his little square comes up saying he's trying to connect, but it isn't connecting to his phone. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm of an age now where I have kids. And I have kids to do that sort of thing. So I can't really help him. His phone is saying no, it won't connect at all when he tries to connect mic and camera. So apologies again. We're hoping to get Elton and he's trying to get in. I can see that he's doing that now. And we will try and get it sorted. So, but thank him, bless him for even trying, and do appreciate it. He's a lovely, lovely man. And as I know he's not doing this on purpose, but there we go. Let's hope his team come across similar sort of problems tomorrow night. Anyway, we have somebody. Well, I might as well move into this guy. I'm doing three things with him tonight, and there's so many places I could go with that, but I am refusing to. And so we're welcoming him. It is every young girl's dream. Yes, it is the totty of the show. It's Brad. Good evening, Brad.
Evening, Brad. Before the ladies get carried away, I'm spoken for, happily spoken for, but for you and I's pleasure. But sorry, yeah.
I saw you. You weren't expecting that intro, were you? Let's be honest.
No, I was not, mate. No, I wasn't.
Rennie, good evening. How the devil are you? Keep us updated. He said he is watching Liverpool versus Man United. I guess a few people are.
If he's listening, the only advice I could give is he might have to go onto his settings, or go onto the settings of the actual app itself on his mobile. Find settings on StreamYard, and if it's not, and find there'll be like a permission section. And basically, what you have to do is, I think it's on your phone settings. It's on your permit, and you go to your permissions, and you have to allow StreamYard to broadcast to your phone. So I don't know if you can hear me, but he might have to go to, I think it's on his phone settings, go to settings, find phone, and then maybe permissions. It's somewhere around there. You can YouTube it how exactly it is, but you have to allow StreamYard onto a mobile device.
The first time we did it a while ago, working, and then since then,
that's auto switched it off. So I've had it on the odd occasion with this.
Yeah,
so that might be a way for if he's listening and can hear.
No. I mean, Andrew, you're not going to miss Craig, are you? You've got two handsome people here. You know, one for the older lady, and then one for the ladies with choice, even though he's taken, they can look at him and enjoy it. Spencer, good evening. How are you? Rich, good evening. Great channel of Rich Sports. Get over there. Oh, new logo, Rich. Get over there and give him some support. He's a Man United fan, and he needs all the support he can do. If you heard a beep in the background, that's Elton trying to get in as well. Everton, in fact, to get something from this, at least one of the games versus you if they're going to stay up. I think so. And Rich also says Elton looks very much like Brad. Master of disguise. He can't, he's well known out, and he's got to sort of come in on.
It's my Easter resurrection look. That's what it is.
Terry says, now you know why I never attempt to come on the show. StreamYard rules. It's technology, mate. As I say, I'm of an age where I have children. It's taken 20 odd years to find a use for them, but no. I mean, Rich says there, Brad, Everton are going to get something from at least one of the games against us. I mean, I've got to be honest with you. There's a meme going round where you can see Everton sort of jumping for joy and dancing. Well, how true it is, I don't know. At Burnley sacking Dyche, but they're going to be sat there. If I was an Everton fan, I'd be sat there now thinking, yes.
I mean, you would, and then you remember that you get a win and it's counted for nothing. Last time they went on a big losing streak. So, and then they've just seen Burnley have an absolute, and I saw a meme for it, an absolute Adamona Lookman, didn't they, with a penalty situation. And again, they really couldn't afford to. They needed to get that win. It would have been vital for them, but they still would have taken positives given everything that happened, 30 odd hours before that game. The players, to their credit, to get anything from that game was a great effort, considering what happened. So they might have felt how Burnley may have obviously felt when they saw that Everton had beat Man United. They might have gone, oh, at least it's not 3 points, but they've still got something. They've still got fight. So these players still know that Burnley are going to see this out. The players showed that. So, they're going to be nervous. Loud. I think they're going to be nervous. I think we need to get at them, and I think it's a term that I've heard a lot with the cricket side. And if anyone's a cricket fan, they'll understand it. I think it's clear from what Rodgers is saying and what we've seen, and until the foreseeable future, easy for me to say, I think we're going to see rest and rotate, and I think that could play into our hands against Everton. I think we'll see that effect of rest and rotate.
Yeah, I think definitely we're going to be rotating. And I think the thing that disappointed me on the weekend, Sunday, I mean, Newcastle were at home, obviously, and that's always, the proverbial 12th man. But that was virtually the team, apart from Perez, that had played against Crystal Palace and played so well. And I looked at that and thought, brilliant, fine. And we didn't, play particularly badly. We got caught out at the end, and I think we discussed it at the time. It's difficult because you're playing Newcastle. It's 1-1. We were on top, I think, towards the end, and you have a go at Rodgers if he brings on defensive substitutions, but he wasn't. He was going for it, and he got caught out. The guy's in a lose-lose situation, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, one moment plays out differently in that game, and by that I mean Tielemans takes him out of the game, takes the foul, takes the card, or Soyuncu puts in a better ball over the top and doesn't give it away. Either of them two moments in that incident happened any different, and we was going to have a show talking about how it's probably a positive point, given Newcastle's mini. We'd spin a positive on it, wouldn't we? And that's all it was at the end of the day. Because, like you said, it wasn't like we were dreadful and deserved to beat it. It was heart wrenching, sent shivers down the spine and flashbacks of Spurs, and then we kind of shook it off and kind of went, okay, we go again. We realised, probably as fans, that was a game that was meant to kind of sort of be the game where we saw, from a very good squad, probably one of our not our strongest 11 available. We actually used that to probably put out to give certain players a rest, and that's what we're going to be seeing you know,
we've got 2 games a week, you
yeah,
know, and
right up until the end of that run, Chris, and that could go all the way for another 2 more games.
yeah, Tillemans is playing every game, KDH is playing every game, and at some point they're going to be knackered, aren't they?
Yeah, I think if it's possible, which would probably see Samori, Madison, and Mendy in that middle 3 to accompany it, but I can see your Tillemans and Dewsbury Hall getting a rest.
Oh, I hope so. I really, really hope so. And if not Samori, Chowdhury, you know, we've got him. He's never let us down, in fairness to him.
I know we've got Villa the weekend after it, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
So
yes.
We can always then still afford to bring them on as a substitute.
Yeah.
In that game, if things go well against Everton, it'll be a bit different if we don't get the result we're wanting from this game, I think. But you feel if we can get the 3 points here, it allows for an extra rest and rotate, and you know, some players get some more minutes on the boots in case they're required on Thursday night, and then you give, you know, Dewsbury Hall and Yuri fully rested, no excuses not to perform at their best, especially Tillemans, who we've cut a bit of slack to because he hasn't been rested every game like, you know, any other game like Dewsbury Hall has, although obviously Dewsbury Hall's performed at a better rate, but that's how it's going to have to work, and it'll be interesting, but I think we should have enough for Everton.
I mean, Rennie, by the way, happy birthday to your dad tomorrow.
Yeah,
let's hope Leicester give you 3 points for a birthday present for him. Andrew says there, are these games important, or does it go all out for the Europa Conference Cup? Do you know what? I mean, I'll give my thoughts first, and then I'll see if you agree with me or disagree, Brad. But with Newcastle, we had 3 points up for grabs, and I think if we'd got those 3 points, there was nothing to say that we couldn't make a late run for 7th place. It was an outside, it was a very outside chance, but teams do sort of put these runs together and manage to sneak in. I mean, everybody was writing off Liverpool last season until the last game of the season, and they did us. I think losing at Newcastle for me has kind of said, nah, forget it. You know, that's not going to happen. Now, we're not going to go down. We're not going to get into Europe. So does it matter? I mean, I know it matters financially whether we finish 9th, 10th, 11th or 12th, because there's obviously millions between the positions. But I am now thinking I want to go all out for the Europa Conference League. Yeah, because it doesn't make any difference where we finish now. We're not going down, so it doesn't make any difference where we finish, does it, in the league, really?
No, it doesn't. But it'd be very naive and very unprofessional, in my opinion, of them players and the manager, and very uncharacteristic, may I just add, first of all, just to add to that, of the players we've got there to suddenly just go, don't care about an Everton game, not bothered if we win it or not.
Oh, no.
I'm saying that, you know, and I'm not saying, I just mean that if they're up against it and it's 1-1, they take it, and you can see. That was a bit over dramatic.
I probably didn't make it quite obvious. Sorry, I kind of meant that when he's picking the teams, he picks the strongest ones for the Europa, and makes the changes for the sort of league games, if you like. I'm not saying don't play or put the kids out or anything like that. I'm just saying make sure the strongest teams go out, I think, for the Europa.
Yeah, but you know, I'd like to sit here, Chris, and be able to say any team that's got a European game to prepare for and dream of winning any form of European trophy at the end of it would always would sit here and be called a liar and happily say, yeah, I am lying by saying I don't want my strongest team out for them games so we can have the best chance of winning it. You're lying to me if you're saying you don't want our best team. From a Leicester perspective, if you come on here and type and say, no, I don't want us to play our strongest team against that because I'm not bothered about it, then either you're lying and you're bad at it, or I'm absolutely dumbfounded at why you wouldn't, because I say that about any team. I don't understand the disrespect these competitions, and I'm not just saying it's Leicester in it to win it, but it's regardless. The Europa League gets disrespected. We was only talking about it in the show, and I've seen a few others have talked about it since. Look at the quality. Don't look at the name. Don't judge competition by saying. Look at the actual quality of teams that are left in each competition.
Yeah.
Look at some of the names that have been knocked out by these teams that are left in this competition. Villarreal knocked out by Munich. Was it Frankfurt that knocked out Barcelona? Could be wrong. Could be wrong with that. But I know it wasn't. You know, it isn't a side that's talked about a lot when you think of these competitions in what you class as the big lot. So don't give every competition its dues. Do you really think does it look like Jose Mourinho, noted as one of the best managers in this generation that we've seen? And that's something that, you know, people probably put him easily in the top 3 of the best managers to be in the Premiership. I don't know about all time. Some people might not have him in the top 5 because they don't really like him, but the majority probably, if you're saying still in management, probably would have him in the top 3. Definitely a top 5, if not, right? He seems to be taking the conference fairly seriously with Roma.
I think all the ones that are left in it are, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's only those English clubs that aren't in it.
Yeah, because some of them have the audacity to say they'd rather not be in it when they haven't won a European Cup since it was known as the Milky Way Cup or whatever.
No, and they haven't won any cup for 14 years. And when they are in it, they get thrown out. But I'm just, but I mean, if I'm looking at Yuri and I'm thinking, right, he is getting a bit tired. Do I play him tomorrow or do I save him? Well, let's say the Aston Villa game, because that's closer. Do I play him against Villa or do I save him for Roma? I think I'd sooner have him on against Roma if he's only going to play one.
You manage your squad, though, because it's easy to turn and just any squad that you put out and say it is done for that. And like we've just discussed there, you would say you want your strongest squad available. But also, I don't know if it was Rodgers that actually said this as a manager here, but I know what a Leicester manager has said this, where they said they put their best team out available. So that means, you know, would he be resting Tielemans? You have to think about it this way. Would he be resting Tielemans or potentially weighing up the idea of giving Tielemans a rest?
Yeah.
And play him in the Villa game if we didn't have Roma? And I think the answer is still yes. I think even if we didn't have, let's say Roma didn't exist, let's say we got knocked out, let's pretend we're not, we're not in it, right? Given the fixture list as it is, playing on a Sunday, Wednesday, and Villa's Saturday, is it?
Yes, yeah. Villa Saturday.
Games, I think a player that's showing that he's fatigued and struggling a bit as well, and a young lad that is not an actual machine despite appearances on the pitch, may give him the gifted break to a well-earned rest, as they can say in football. I still think he would potentially rest these players, and they're more likely to get rested against Everton than they were anyway. I just think the impetus is you may, instead of playing them in 90 minutes against Villa, because we've got another league games not for another week, we have to bear in mind we also then have another game on Thursday, so why not give him 20 minutes at the end against Villa?
20 minutes. I'm on about sort of starting and what have you. And I mean, Terry said there, it is all about game management. And
I feel like I could just do a 3-hour presentation on that. I apologise.
Right. No, not at all. I sort of, I get it, but I just think, like I say, if we're going to get into Europe next season, we know it is now going to be via winning the conference. We're not going to get in probably on the table. I think, I said, that Newcastle loss really, any slight chink of light that we had has been snuffed out. But like I say, so for me, and you look at that squad that we put out, and you look at the bench that we've got now, and we've got 2 teams. You know what I mean? We've got 2. We've said this all season, haven't we? We've got the squad size now, but the problem's been they've all been bloody injured, so we can't get. Now we're as close as we are to having a fully fit squad, barring maybe there's a couple obviously, but
I mean, barring the obvious ones that are out.
Yes, So it's a great thing to say, right? Against Everton, we're going to play James Justin at left back, And then against Roma midweek, we've got Castagna to come in there, or vice versa, whichever. And you know, you've got these options now, so use them. Because the last thing you want to do is turn up against Roma and be absolutely sort of knackered and not be able to perform at all. But it will be interesting, you know, Brendan, he always throws a square ball into there somewhere to confuse us all. Elton actually sent me a message, and he did actually say this. He said, 7 of your players would walk into our side, but tomorrow is like a huge cup tie for us. Goodison will be rocking under the lights, and that could tip the balance our way. I think he's right. I think it helped with the Newcastle one. I think Elton's, he says that totally right. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going into this game confident.
I'm going into this game probably more confident than others are, because I just feel the one thing we've seemed to have managed to do, even in this bad season, even in this season that's dropped off in terms of results wise than it has over the last few seasons in the league, you know, at least. And reasons are what they are, but you know, you look at this game and you just think the one thing they have managed to do, even if it's taken a game extra to do it, is our bounce back ability from these bad results. We've had a few more this season, but we've always found a way to bounce back. You know, it's. I don't really remember. I mean, what was our biggest stretch without like a win, and even a draw was maybe thrown in that run? I think it was like 3 or 4 games this season.
I'm not 100%. Yeah,
but I'd like to think. Yeah, I'm actually fairly optimistic that we will get at these, because you have to remember, if we don't switch off from a set piece, for the love of God, please don't switch off from set piece.
Yeah,
and we can get that second goal, which we didn't get against Newcastle, which in my opinion would have killed it off, because they weren't doing anything. Their crowd was quiet. We got their crowd frustrated.
Yeah, we did.
While we were in front, the impetus of that was with that game. And I know some Newcastle fans have generally come out and said that if we'd have taken more of our chances, then it would have killed them off, and they wouldn't have got what they did.
Yeah,
I'm not taking away anything from their win, because they deserved it for digging in and staying in the game the way they did, and punished us rightfully. But what I'm saying is, if we correct the mistakes, and we do get an early goal, and then we find the second goal of the game, I just don't see Everton getting into it.
No. Thanks, Rennie. By the way, Rennie's off, so thank you for doing that. I mean, this is our record against Everton here. I mean, we played 30 times in the Premier League. They've won 10. We've won 6. They've won 5 at home. We've only won 2 away. So under a normal season, you're going to look at that and say, yeah, you know, that's going to be Everton's game. But I mean, they are fighting for their lives, literally, aren't they? I mean, you know, when you look at the table, I mean, they're in 17th, but they're only 3 points ahead of Burnley. And that's going to be a very interesting game for them on Thursday night, because they're at home, and it's the first home tie since, obviously, Sean Dyche was given his marching orders. So that's going to be a great atmosphere. They can probably get something from that one. You know, I mean, they're playing Southampton, and Everton have got they've got us. I'm not sure they got after us, but they are going to be fighting for their lives. They're going to be looking at that, and they can still get drawn into it, and they can still go down, and we are going to have to be at our best.
Yeah, and that's why he'll pick the side that he's going to pick, because it'll be the fittest, most available, and best player that he can pick. It, you know, and it'll, you know, play the record again. We've got to rest to rotate because of the amount of games we've got. You know, the fact that we're still in 2 competitions, so that makes our games even closer together. You know, it's going to be what it is. So the players that come in, you know, we've seen Dewsbury Hall take his chance. We've seen, you know, this was the first time that a youngster's come into the squad and they've not been thrusted in to it. They've worked their way. I mean, since Harvey Barnes. since Harvey Barnes was probably the last one that really worked the way in. And I'm not saying these guys didn't work the way in, because obviously they came in, they played brilliantly. If I'm talking about the likes of Fana, but to see a Dewsbury Hall do what he's done, it's great to see. He's got out on loan, he's impressed, he's worked his way on the training ground, he's got in. We've been kind of forced to throw these Fofanas and that in at the deep end. They haven't had the luxury of being given a chance to kind of go, yeah, you've impressed me, to earn it. And they've kind of probably played with a bit more doubt. So it's even better that they've been such a success. Yes. It's still a good generation to see, isn't it? What we're seeing. And these players keep stepping up. I just see it happening in this running as well. That's why I don't think we'll drop our standards now, even though, we missed out.
You would hope that the squad players that we've got would be able to.
Well, they're looking to get into Brendan's plans for Roma as well, won't they?
Exactly. And of course, we've got the summer coming up when rumours of a clear out. There's going to be a few players there that want to, got a point to prove. Elton just messaged me again. We beat United by being up for it. But you are a far better side. Thank you very much, Elton. If I were a neutral, which of course I'm not, I would have a $5 on Leicester to win. Your guys will find it very intimidating tomorrow. It'll be more of a test of their bottle than their ability. This is like I say, for Everton, it's a do or die, because they'll be looking at this. Let's be honest, they'll be looking at this and thinking, yeah, this is a Leicester side that's not been on the game this season, for whatever reason, but they'll look at that and think, this is a winnable game for us. Where if it was sort of maybe Liverpool, Man City come in, they'll be thinking, maybe not.
Oh, again, they took the free hit, didn't they, at Man United? And I appreciate that, the fan think that we're a better side than Manchester United, because although we're not in the league position better-wise, I'd agree with that. I think Manchester United are hoping, the talks of us putting all our eggs in a competition, where they're obviously putting all their eggs on their new manager, who's coming in. So, we are probably better than them at this current moment. We're on a better level. I would very much agree with that point. But again, they're going to think it's winnable. They have to think it's winnable. And what we have to do is make sure we turn up. This is one of them games that, as a manager, you don't really like having to give that pre-match talk to, because you feel like you're telling them to not to do the job in a weird way, because you're like, don't let it slip, don't drop your standards here. These, you give that cliche, these are fighting for the life speech, as if to say you're talking about them taking on a League Two side or something. You know what I mean? You have to remember these are in the Premiership and have been for a long, long time, and they're not going to want to give that, or you think they're not going to want to give that up without a fight. So,
nobody's going to want to go down, you would have thought, without a fight, and whatever standard, the team or players are. And I say Everton have been a mainstay of the top flight for probably longer than most other clubs. I mean, that's the form going into the game tomorrow. Let's look at Everton's first of all. They beat Man United, but like Elton said there, we know that. I mean, they're beatable, and I think they must be getting a little bit worried about their game tonight against Liverpool. They lost to Burnley, but that was a war of attrition, and it could have gone either way, that one. But Burnley went for it. I mean, but the thing is, Burnley won it, and then haven't moved on from there. They didn't take advantage of that. Lost to West Ham, which they're sort of a top 7 team. They beat Newcastle, which was admirable, because obviously Newcastle, they beat us. We know that, and they lost, but only just to Wolves. I mean, there's nobody in there that is giving them a good hiding.
No, and it's not going to be easy. I'm hopeful, and I might have tongue in cheek put out a few predictions like a 4 or 5-0, but it won't be that easy. And if it is that easy, then you have to look at that and think that could be the last, the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. Because if we do go out there and stroll to a 4 or 5-0, I think Everton fans will go back to looking at the nails and asking them to grow a bit quicker so they can bite them off again, because that'd be a hell of a of a shot if we managed to go. Not saying we're not capable of it, but to say that they'd lose all their fight, surely, if we went out there and beat them 4 or 5-0. So we've just got to do our job. You look at the last 3 results before our defeat to Newcastle, got 7 points out of a 9. If we can get the result 1-0, 2-1, 3-0, I'm not arsed as long as it's a win for Leicester. You take that to Villa and you the King Power win there, and all of a sudden we're 6 points out of 6, and that's how you've got to look at it as well. It's bracketed down a lot shorter these days. You're comparing smaller groups. You don't look. It's easy to look at it as a season, but if we keep looking at the season, all you're going to see is that they're not performing. But you look at our chart, that's a good 3 games we managed before in between our last 2 defeats. So if we can do that, in the last 8 games, we'll end the season on a high, whether it's 7th somehow or 8th or 9th.
Yeah. I mean, looking at our form, then, you've got Arsenal there, and it's kind of like. We always seem to lose against Arsenal, don't we? Almost like not a given, but it's like, it's Arsenal. We beat Brentford, who, let's be honest with you, they've been tearing up trees again. They've got the mojo back. We drew with Man Utd, which, let's be honest with you, we were robbed on that, and I do think we should have won that. I don't care what anybody else says. And we beat a very good Crystal Palace side. And the loss we've got there against Newcastle was, we say, 95th minute. That could easily have been another black dot. So it's not all doom and gloom for us.
No, it's not, and that's how you have to look at these principles, because you could do this, like I said, you could do this for our form for a whole season, and it looks where it is, and you think, oh, maybe they have been really, really bad. But the fact is, when we've had good periods, we've had some unfortunate moments. Like you said, unfortunately, Arsenal is the worst ground we go to. I agree with you. I think we beat a Brentford side that are on the up and have found their mojo back. They've got their Cambiasso, as I thought of the comparison. In the terms of they're getting a great benefit from bringing in Eriksen. That's reaped their season to back to where it was looking at the start of it when we're really high up. They're doing really well now. So that was actually a really good win in the end, and we was comfortable until we conceded in that game. We was better side throughout, and again, I agree with you. Slightly unfortunate not to come away with 3 points from that. And again, it only took 3 glorious opportunities for the bugger to put it in the back of the net. I don't know about Ivory Coast, but he's got to have some Irish up in only that Zara, because he had a horseshoe and a half up his arse in that game. 2 penalties and the rebound on the second one.
Yeah, I know.
We saw that out comfortably. It was just unfortunate against Newcastle. And that's something we need to eradicate. If we do that, I'm already starting to look forward to next season.
Yeah, I mean, you can see there the league positions. We can see that if I use the right mouse, it helps. You can see that sort of. I mean, we're up in 9th at the moment. Everton, I mean, it sounds good, 9th, but obviously there's a huge points difference. But we have got games in hand, but we need to make the most of those. And Everton, obviously, as we say, are in 17th. But in the form table, and this is looking at the last 6 games, just taking those into account. I mean, we're 8th on there. We were 3rd, but unfortunately losing to Newcastle dropped us down. Everton, though, they're in 16th, so we're both where we pretty much are in the league, to be honest with you. Yeah. But we haven't played each other this season yet, and last season it was, well, you can see there again. The first game we lost to Everton, and the second one we drew. So, yeah, I say we just can't take this for granted. I know you've got to be careful of poking the bear. And I think Everton, they as if I was an Everton fan, I would be looking at this and thinking, yeah, I'd sooner be playing Leicester now than Man City. I mean, do you think? I mean, did they make the right choice in Frank Lampard? I mean, he's taken some criticism, but he's got to start somewhere. All these managers have. you know, I mean, credit to Wayne Rooney. I know Derby have gone down and it's very funny and what have you. Well, it is to me. But I don't want to see him go bust. I did enjoy seeing them go down. But he's sticking there, give him his due, and he's learning his trade. For him to turn it down, as rumoured, that kind of sort of maybe says what trouble Everton are in at the moment.
I also think he maybe doesn't want to cause as much controversy as some of his near moves, shall I say, in his footballing career caused, or nearly caused for a little bit. And, you know, he was given a respectful job at Derby. It was a hard job, and maybe he felt, if I can prove myself here, which, to be fair, I think he did. Despite them going down, I think as a manager, he really proved he's got it.
He was there, he got them into the playoffs, didn't he? So,
well, yeah, and if it weren't for the points deduction, I don't know where they would actually be this season, but they'd be more than safe, wouldn't they? They'd be.
Yeah.
So you've got to give major credit to them. We saw what happened to us, you know. Going down to League One ended up being the best thing that happened to this club in the most messed up way possible, but it did. And I don't know. I think there's too much egos. There's too many egos in that dressing room that wait for the fate. EveLei, you know, I don't think big players like Richarlison are going to be there next season, regardless. There's already rumours and reports coming out saying it, and as much as I hate them, sometimes there's no smoke without fire. But again, lazy journalism, it's easy to latch on to say this the trouble they're in. So yeah,
I mean, I remember when we got relegated just after O'Neill left, and we got rid of Taylor. Oh God, it still makes me shiver when I say that name. And we got, you know, the players stuck with us, didn't they? They you know, didn't leave straight away, and we came straight back up. But it's a different world now, isn't it? It's a different game. And Richard, by the way.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of that's down to how they structured the parachute payments. You had in the way you have a mini version of that of the Premier League's power struggle with money in the Championship, because it's still the same. It might not on the same scale as what it is in the Premiership, with hundreds of millions being spent by clubs, but you're getting clubs that come. The term yo-yo club is becoming more and more popular with the handful of Premier League clubs, because they're financially stable as it is. They're very well off. I'm not saying they don't deserve these payments and it should all be equal if you're able to get there, but there comes a point where maybe you start to look at the Championship, and I'd be a bit worried of it going stale and we keep on this merry-go-round where it's the same 3 or 4 clubs. I think that's why now teams like Brentford making it, and Sheffield United 2 seasons ago making it, you know, a lot of neutrals were behind them to stay up because we wanted a different face. You know, some of us are looking at Luton and probably got them as an eye on that. We've got a cheeky £2 bet on, or maybe, or, you know, we're checking their results a little bit more closer because we'd like to see someone different in the Premiership, because you do have that fear that with these parachute payments, and that's the thing. You've seen how easy it is. Newcastle is a prime example. Spent 1 season out, bounced straight back up with like 100 points. I still remember people salivating about Wolves getting 90 odd points, even though no one made a big deal about us getting 100 points. But I'm not bitter. I'm not sour. We move on.
Oh, I can tell. I can tell.
We won a Premier League. They haven't won anything, but you know, we move on anyway. But yeah, you know, it's just something that maybe needs to be looked into. But that's for a different discussion. That's the only thing that Everton have got. They'd get a clear out from it, wouldn't they? They'd get a clear out of unwanted players that aren't really wanting to be there for a fight. Because if they lose their bottle and go down, you need to get rid of them players. That's what Everton need to make sure they do. Either way.
Yeah. I noticed Brendan Rodgers today said Everton shows money does not always matter.
Your league position definitely matters. I mean, Newcastle might be happy with how things have gone for them, and that is well and true, but they were bad beforehand. And unfortunately, look, the blame's going to go towards the board, and it's going to go towards the appointment of Rafa and the inexperience of Lampard if they go down this season. But really, the problem goes way back, doesn't it? If you really think about it, how much money was Ronald Koeman allowed to waste willingly? And that's where it goes wrong for clubs sometimes. Sometimes the board just go, look, you want us to back a manager, we hired this guy. They have a meeting, they've sold a dream on both ends. They sell themselves. Like Chris, you sell yourself to a company if you want to get hired by them. You make yourself more plausible than the rest. And you're thinking, right, we've got to trust the money. We want to progress as a club. This guy's convinced us he can do that. We're going to trust him with this money, with my money, as the owner might be saying. And then it backfires. And that's just something that you have to do as a football owner. It's not an easy business. I don't envy football owners of any clubs, even if they are arseholes, like some fans think of their owners. Not to say names and put them out there, but I'll just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to remember that as well. This problem wasn't like the owners aren't giving money to Rafa to spend. It's they gave it to someone else, and the numpty went out and got 3 goals worth between them.
I mean, I did actually. Again, I asked Elton about Demarai Gray. Where did I?
Waste of money. Sorry, I said that out loud, didn't I? Sorry, that was that was like it's like a brain thing, mate. I can't help it. Every time someone mentions Demarai Gray, I have to say how useless he is. Sorry.
No, you're quite right. I'm just trying to find. Let me just find what he said about Demarai Gray, and I will put it up on the screen because we all have our thoughts about Demarai Gray. And Elton's not one. He doesn't mince his words. I've heard some of his podcasts because he does a lot of. If you're on Twitter, he does a lot of these spaces, and I've heard him. It's just now my system decides not to work. Having trouble connecting. Please check. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, mate.
Yeah, I'm still. It's not. The chat does not appear to be working for some reason for me. But basically, here we go. Turn it off and turn it on again. For 1.7 million, you can't argue. Started well for us, but hasn't continued in the same vein. Nothing more than okay. I mean, that's kind of, you could be a Leicester fan saying that, couldn't you? In fairness?
Yeah, except the problem is we spent an extra 3 million than they did on him. If we'd have spent 1.7 million, I said, well, we talk about scraping the value for money aspect, but I would go to say that you probably given the lowest case example of getting exactly your money's worth because you probably got exactly 1.7 million. I mean, I found it. I ended up scratching my head. I don't understand why, but people were asking me the question early on in the season. Oh, I bet you gutted. Are you gutted you let Demarai Gray go because of what he started at Everton? I went, there's a reason a club that paid less than that sold him for less than that.
Yeah.
We got some money back off buying for him. I can't remember how much it was. I don't think it's as much.
I think it was 1.7. I think Everton paid exactly the same to them as they paid to us.
Yeah, because I think when they got him from because Bayern, but he went to Bayern, didn't he? And I think
went to a German club. I'm not sure which one.
He went to buy Leverkusen. He went to Leverkusen from us, and I think at one point there must have been a misprint. Because papers were reporting that they were willing to pay 14 million for us. And I think a lot of people have it in their heads that Bayern Leverkusen paid us 14 million for us, and it didn't. And that's why
I don't know. We got the 1.7. Yeah.
I think the reason I said if he was that good, because I think he scored on his debut for Leverkusen, didn't he?
I didn't.
And they obviously rated him that much after that goal that they sold him for what they paid us for.
There's just a theme going on here with Demarai Gray, isn't there?
Watch him score a hat-trick now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's going to. I mean, all this dissing of Demarai Gray, he will obviously forever. I will love him forever for that goal he got against Cardiff.
I'm not going to disperse right just because I don't think he's a talented footballer.
Scott says here, Brad, I've had a thought of an idea for your show. Who is more useless? I always hear Perez or Demarai Gray. We won't get onto that, otherwise we'll be here all night.
It'll just be me shouting expletives about certain players, and that, so we don't want that. It's got to be more shit, Scott.
Brad's saying here, and I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a team choice now. Would you play Chowdhury or Soumaré as a CDM and push Mendy into the position that Tielemans normally operates? I'll tell you what, Brad. Here we
Yeah,
go.
go
We did it last time. Let's do it again this time. Remember, we've got no James Justin available in the names, but we can still pick him. If you were Brendan, would you go for 4-3-3 again?
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason to change it because, well, we've tried changing it and it didn't work for Brendan. So that's something. I'm sorry. 8 games to go. You might as well stick to what you're good at.
Yeah,
Even if it stuttered a little bit against Newcastle, you're going to have to stick to it and work on a plan B now in the summer. That's going to be one of the things.
Yes,
I'm sure Brendan will crack on with when he's got more time with a fully fit squad.
Who are you going to put in at left back? Are you going to stick with Thomas or bring Justin back for this one, or save Justin? And this is your starting lineup. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that these players will play for 90 minutes. So who you would start with? Yeah,
but weirdly enough, I'm actually gonna put Castagna on my left.
okay.
I think he's going to put Castagna on the left-hand side.
I get what you're saying. And on the other side, on the right,
I think he will go with. I'm pretty certain he's available. Ricardo Pereira.
Yeah, I think
I
he
said that
is.
like I answered a quiz question. It's
Why
because
not
sometimes I can't remember if he's still fit or not playing, or if he's had a niggle somewhere else. Because sometimes he just gets and walk into the shop. Sometimes, doesn't he? Pereira.
Do you want to phone a friend?
yeah. I'll ask the audience.
Yeah, it's a surprise because normally we'd be talking about a game in Europe for team for European, but obviously that's going to be next week. 2 centre backs. Do you go back to Fofana and Evans? I think you do. I think you do because I think with the rotation, I think the idea would be that maybe you don't see Evans out of the 2 of them. If not, this is how they're going to do the centre backs going forward. I think it'll be Evans and Fofana. Yeah,
centre backs.
No, I haven't got a Fofana, so
I know you don't have a Fofana.
If anybody thinks I'm cheating, no, I'm not. I just don't have a Fofana. I'm afraid.
Yeah, but just put somebody in who we know is not going in this squad if they're available. Put them in, and people won't think you've gone crazy.
There we go. We know Ryan Bertrand's going to get nowhere near it because he's injured anyway.
Nobody watching, anybody tuning in, just let them know in the comments that Bertrand is Fofana because the BBC forget that he's a footballer.
Yeah. In fact, I think it actually goes the other way around, doesn't it? But never mind. Now, you get what we're doing. That central defensive midfield role. Now, this is the question that Scott was asking you.
Yeah, see, again, I don't know which game he's going to rest Dewsbury Hall for, but I'd imagine he's going to rest him for at least one of them, unless he thinks, unless the kid's showing that he can do, the game on Wednesday, the game on Saturday, and then the game on Thursday. If he can, then he's going to play.
Well, he has just done 3 games, hasn't he? In fairness to him.
I mean, there's no reason sometimes you can't. Sometimes, like I said, like I've talked about with the stamina thing with Yuri, it's not giving the lad an excuse. Some players have impeccable stamina that they play each game as if it's nothing, like Dewsbury Hall was doing at the moment. And some players just cannot do that. It's not something they can do. They might just have the natural talent to get away with it and still put in performances, but they are going to need that break in a game. And for me, Yuri Tilleman's not getting it. I'm going to have to say it's Mendy. I just think Mendy plays. I think he's got the more experience for this and what he needs.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest with you. For me, I think Tielemans is wasted in that defensive role. I really do. I mean, I think looking, everybody's been saying for the last couple of games, Tielemans hasn't looked good. Is he giving up? And I think it's just the fact that he's being asked to play out of position. If he was, I think I said the other day, didn't I, that if he was playing in that role in the FA Cup final, he doesn't get that goal. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, that was the role that Perez technically held on that. That's where he won that ball, wasn't it? Where it definitely didn't strike his arm. You're all blind Chelsea fans, never happened. But, that's the sort of when Perez was on the defensive for for the counter, and that was such a strong way. Telemans was in that number 10 role or that number 8 role, wasn't he? Which is where he naturally plays. Here he's just being asked to maybe compensate a little bit for Mendy, which I think Brendan Rodgers needs to, like you say, Chris, needs to stop doing, because it just maybe starts to give Mendy the idea that he's not too trusted there as it is, and maybe he needs to allow Telemans to be expressive. Or it could just be the genius it is, and not the bell end. We've never called him out on this channel, Chris, have you? No, good lad. And maybe he's gone, maybe it's something that Brendan's trying to get more out of Telemans. So he's telling him, right, save your energy, use it don't use it all the time to get forward and get forward and get forward. Save that energy, pick your moments better to get forward, and he's hoping to get more out of him. So he's, he doesn't go forward 10, 15 times a game. He goes 6 or 7 times a game. We don't know. No. But if it is fatigue, rest him here. And unfortunately, even though it's probably not his best role, his like for like is Maddison.
Yeah, I'm just. I thought then for a minute that Liverpool were playing Man United, because Man United had got it's like a white top on. It's that white one with like the blue design in it and light blue shorts. I'm thinking, like, who is that? And it is Man United, of course. I just think we know Mendy can do that job. He's done it before. He did it last season when indeed he was injured. So I don't see any reason, like you say, why he can't be trusted in that role. Yeah. Then to the right or to the left of him.
I mean, if he's fit to play, it's got to be Dewsbury Hall. I can't just put someone in for the sake of putting him in like a Demarai, because if he's fit to play, Dewsbury Hall has to play. He doesn't.
And
look
even like you say, even if he only plays 45 minutes.
Yeah, even if he plays 45 minutes or an hour, and then maybe a Samori comes on or something like that. I'd much rather see that than him be rested and then thrown on for 20 minutes in this game if it's not working out. If he can play it. Because if not, things get a bit complicated for that area. So I have to say Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. And like I said at the start, this is, the starting team. So it could very well, change as it goes through. Do you play Yuri again?
No, Maddison. You give him that rest. Even if it's something that's not worked tactically or he needs a rest mentally, give him this rest. It's the best opportunity you're going to get. Yeah.
I mean, on paper, you would say Aston Villa were going to be the tougher game. I mean, I say it's not on paper. Football's not played on paper, but when you're looking at it, you would guess that that's going to be the tougher game. So this is probably the better one to rest him for. Are we going Daka or are we going Inacho in that central attacking? Well, the one attacker role that we have.
I think I've got to give credit to Brendan again. He's using Daka wisely this season. He's not leaving him out in the cold entirely, but he's allowing him to develop on the training ground. And when he thinks he's able to exploit that the best and really show what he's learned, he's using him for these games. Now it's not paid off as much as Daka would have wanted in front of goal. He's not, he's not found the net as often as he would have liked, and not for fault of getting the chances either at times. But I do agree. I think Nacho comes in for this one because there's no Vardy, so you need to be making sure these two are rotated as well. And so, again, give him that chance to work on the things that he's spoken about in interviews, the dropping back and collectible, building his strength. He gets another week to do that. He doesn't get caught up on it, and he can come off the bench. If he comes off the bench and grabs as a late winner, happy days again, aren't we? Or he gets an assist.
And for me, I mean, you've said it before, and I agree with you. If Vardy goes so many games without scoring, it's Jamie. All still well with the world, and the fact that Jamie Vardy's on the pitch as that fast striker, distracting the defenders, that's part of his job. Whereas, Daka, you could say, is doing the same thing. And I think we've got to cut him some slack and let him get used to playing in this country. Like you say, Brendan's you have to take your blue tinted spectacles off and look at it and go, actually, yeah, Brendan's easing him in here. And it's like with Samari, he's obviously decided that Samari's going to take that little bit longer to get used to the English game. And so he's taking his time bedding him in, if you like. And not every player is a Fofana, and you can put him in, and it's like they've played here all their life.
Yeah, and I don't mean it in a horrible way to Leicester fans, but I think we've become a little bit spoiled in that area because we have had Fofanas come in and be amazing. We have had a Yuri Tillemans on loan be amazing, and then signed for us to be amazing, and we've signed a James Justin, and injuries have made him come up and it's been amazing, and we've had youth products, right? We've become so accustomed, I think we'll probably be better, and spoiled for seeing instant success from these players that get rave reviews. And Samori was signed from a team that stopped PSG winning the league. He ain't exactly a slouch. He's got something about him.
Totally, yeah.
So again,
just say Liverpool it's 4 minutes into the game and Liverpool are 1-0 up.
Cricket.
If you're a Man United, although they are checking it for offside, but if you're a Man United fan, I mean, I've got to be honest with you, knife and hot knife and butter springs to mind, and there's a couple of there's fisticuffs, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Anyway, that's their game. Scott thinks we should put Vestergaard up front. Then he does say he's only joking.
Martin O'Neill did it with Steve Walsh and Matt Elliott. Don't rule it out.
Let's be honest, we wouldn't probably be where we are. Yeah, we probably wouldn't be where we were without Steve Walsh scoring them goals.
Don't rule it out. Stranger things have happened. Stuart Pearce won't play David James up front. So, and he really got an assist if he had a better touch. He'd got an assist the way he was going.
That's true. That is true, actually. Okay, so looking at either side of Inacho, on the left, your thoughts about who would go on the left?
I think
do you bring Barnes back in?
No, and that might sound strange, but Barnes did not change that game down that side. In fact, he slowed it down, if anything. Yeah. And I think he's one that maybe because Yuri's got to focus on him, and because the papers are allowing fans to focus more on Yuri with his situation and contract, and he's not interested. Oh, God, if you struggle to sleep at night, so listen, just get that on a loop. It'll put you to sleep within seconds. You'll be out like a light.
That's true.
Harvey Barnes has gone, sometimes we've said Harvey Barnes goes a little bit underappreciated. Well, this time he's getting he's not completely, but he's getting away with a bit more of getting away with not taking a bit of the slack, if for lack of a better way of expressing it, because he's been a bit one-dimensional recently. He's been figured out. And maybe that's something that Brendan and his team need to work on Harvey with and note it and try and work something with Harvey. And maybe it's something they need to really pick up on and alert it, because I'm seeing it as a fan. I don't know if you have, Chris, but he seems to only have one or two moves. He's like one of them chess pieces that you can only move one. A pawn, you can only move diagonally to tape or whatever it is, or whatever. You know what I mean? He's only got a few moves, and defenders have figured him out, and he needs freshening up. He needs another couple of tricks to his arsenal, and I think he needs out for this game. And purely because I'm not having him on the right, despite what people might think, he's not coming back. Paris is going back on the bench, right? But I would want. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I want Mr. Reliable on the left, and I want us to use that left side to be the one where we not slow things down, but that's where we kind of take that side and put a ball in behind the defence to get in them quicker. We use Albright. I want Albright on the left.
Wow. Okay, that has surprised me. I agree totally with Barnes. And he didn't change the game when he came on. He's had to put him. He was taken off early on the on the PSV game, and he didn't do anything when he came on. But then, in fairness, I don't like making, unless it's an injury or a player is getting absolutely roasted, which you can usually tell within the first 10, 15 minutes, I never see a point in changing like for like, because it very rarely changes
I don't think
the
it's
game.
like for like, because Albrighton is not a young
No.
lad.
Well, that's when he took Lookman off. Sorry, I mean,
Yeah,
put
yeah,
Barnes
sorry,
on.
I'm with you. Sorry,
No. I just didn't. I didn't see the point, and it was Barnes who got took off for Lookman because he wasn't playing well, and then Barnes got taken. Like I say, Brendan has his ways, doesn't he? I would have gone Lookman on the left personally because he does seem to play better for us, and it is his preferred side. Now I know when Barnes is fit, he doesn't get in there, but. I love Lookman. I think we should sign him.
Yeah, I do.
Pogba's off already. He's probably gone off early so he can pack his bags. I want him. If it's 15 million, for God's sake, we paid 15 million for Vestergaard, and obviously Brendan trusts him because he's coming on. He's 10 times better than Under, but. He is better on the left-hand side, but you've gone for Albrighton on the left. Who are you going for on the right?
That's why I'm putting Lukeman. I'm putting Lukeman on the right, and the reason I'm doing that is look at my wing backs. You've got an overlapping wing backs in Castagne and Ricardo, but you've got a very defensive-minded. You've got a very defensive-minded. Castagne, in the sense that if he knows who's in front of him, like it's an Albrighton, he knows the right times to make runs, and he can be a bit more adventurous because he knows he's got a defensive winger in front of him. That means if Albrighton gives the ball to go on, he's going to be one that sits back, and it allows him to be a bit more forward. It allows him a chance to recover. As Ricardo has that ability with Lukeman at his side, we've seen how Lukeman can either give the wing support or he can cut inside. I think it benefits both our wing backs just better having. Plus, we're not going to be predictably going down the left and going, it's going to go to Harvey Barnes and he's going to run down the wing and then he's going to pass it all the way back to James Justin or whoever else on the left-hand side. And then he's going to get the ball back.
I get that. I get that totally.
You know what I mean? It's a little bit more different. It's a little
in the
bit
last few games.
And that style of play goes on the right and teams aren't used to that.
Yeah. I think if you look, when we've had like Luke Thomas, Kieran Dewsbury Hall and Barnes, they have combined. And in the last few games, I think, whoever's been playing on the right has been able to get his deck chair and get some sandwiches out. For me, I would agree with that to a point. I would probably have Lookman for Albrighton on that side and bring Maddison forward instead of Albrighton. And I wouldn't start with Albrighton. Mark Albrighton, love him to bits. Love him totally to bits. But for me, like I say with Vardy, I think his days are becoming now where he's better as an impact sub. Because, I don't think he would... for me, it's just my opinion, and obviously football is all about opinions, but I just think he's better coming off the bench. The question is, though, who would I then put in that position where we've currently got Maddison, of course? And let's have a look at what alternatives they give us. Hamza Chowdhury, Patson, Daka, James, Maddison. I mean, normally you'd say Tillemans, wouldn't you? But I can't bring myself for Ioisi Perez. I'd probably have to say let's give Samaria a go and see what happens. But
it's just for me as well. What I think you get is you get the opportunity to catch Everton off guard, because I think they will fall into the trap if Brendan thinks about it, and maybe Frank Lampard will study Leicester and he'll realise that they predominantly attack down the left and they do it with pace. And if coming out before kickoff, he realises they haven't actually got that pace on that side. There's no Lukeman on that side. He's on the right hand side, and there's no Harvey Barnes. I'm going off what I want to see as an 11 as well here, and how I think we should line up, because personally, I think all of a sudden you throw a spanner into the works, because they've been training all this week to try and stop us going down the flanks. And then if they've got somebody who can ping in a Steve Guppy-esque ball, either at the edge of the box or on the halfway line he can do it from, you throw them off because Lookman gets that freedom down the right. And in the greatest respect, the way I want to see Samore brought into the game is if he's getting picked to play over Mendy in that position. I don't want us being too defensive-minded in this game. I think you need to have that general in the midfield, and that's why I would have done what you said there, Chris. I would have put Madison on the right and Luke on the left, but I want us to be a bit more versatile, and maybe want to start having an idea how we can change things up next season on either side. And I think we see that if we use Albright that way, like Fuchs. Like you said, every so often he gets a random appearance or a start, and then mainly off the bench.
But then, maybe with Samaria, as I say, change him half time, 60 minutes with Albrighton. Scott says there to me, Chris, with your selection of having Madison on the right, does that mean you wouldn't have Perez on the bench then, or wouldn't have Albrighton on the bench, as Brendan tends to have either or? I'm not doing what Brendan does. Do you know what I mean? Perez for me, okay. Let's not. He had a good 20 minutes against PSV, and as Brad said, where the hell has he been for the other 3.5 years? You know, he was. Again, he set the goal up against Newcastle. Has he done enough to be an automatic start? Not for me. And yes, I'd have him on the bench because he's not a useless player. So yes, I would have him on the bench, but
because he has but that's only because he's finally now put in 2 performances that warrants you saying he's somebody that I want to see coming off the bench and keep improving, keep showing what he is capable of.
Don't get me wrong. I'd still say sell him in the summer.
Yeah, I would as well.
I'm not going to say that, but while we've got him, let's use him. And I think, and I've got to be honest with you, I would bring on Marco Brighton before I brought on Perez. But that's it. But anyway, let's have a quick sort of did you knows. Here we go. Frank Lampard hasn't won any of his 3 Premier League matches against Leicester City as a manager. No side has he faced more often without ever winning than the Foxes. Also 3 against Liverpool. Another did you know for Everton? Charlison has scored in 4 of his last 6 Premier League matches for Everton against Leicester. The Brazilian has only netted more Premier League goals against Southampton and Wolverhampton Wanderers for each than he has against the Foxes. Leicester, did you know? Kelechi Iheanacho has been involved in 4 goals in his last 4 appearances against Everton in all competitions, 2 goals and 2 assists. He's played just 157 minutes across those 4 matches, averaging a goal or assist every 39 minutes. Okay, I'll take that. And the last, did you know?
So on that basis, then Leicester win 6-2, and Richarlison and Kelechi Iheanacho are going to score.
Yeah, I'll take that. Leicester have lost 8 away Premier League matches this season, including 6 of their last 8 on the road in the competition. The Foxes have suffered more than 8 away defeats in a season in 17-18. So we only did that the once. Going to end this now, Brad, because we're going to be seeing each other again in 40 minutes, and then we're going to be talking again later in the evening. So we just might as well move in together. I'm interested to see. I've got all the predictions in here off the ex-players. Steve Lynex has gone 0-0. Steve Walsh has gone 1-1. Ian Marsh has gone 2-1 Everton, but of course he's divided loyalties there. Jerry Taggart's gone 2-1 Leicester. Ian Wilson's gone 2-2. I've gone 2-1 Leicester as well. What way are you going to go? Are you going to be sitting on the fence, or are you going to plonk your feet firmly on one side of it?
You know what, Chris? Put me down for a 3-0 Leicester.
If you win that, then I'm going to get the lottery number tickets off you next week. Lottery
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
lottery
and 6.
ticket numbers.
I'll give you the same 6.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks very much for popping on. You're at Full-Time Focus on your Twitter. Tell everybody where they can listen to you with your new podcast.
Well, ironically, if they follow me on that Twitter handle at Full Time Focus, they'll see in the bio a YouTube link. If they click that, it'll take them to the channel that you're joining me on tonight. It's called A Matter of Opinion. It's a football subject, episode 2. It's actually a nice little fun one. We're discussing. I'm letting the panel discuss which football teams they think have the most deluded fan base. So if you go to Twitter, search at Full Time Focus, give me a follow on that, click on the link, hit the little subscribe button because it just helps, and turn the notifications on. And that will be recorded tonight with Chris and a few others, and you'll get to see that tomorrow. So yeah, that's where you'll find me and the channel. Cheers.
I'm just looking at I'm looking at Madison moaning, not Madison, Maguire moaning on the thing like yes, yeah, you left us. The grass isn't greener. Grass isn't greener. I will see you in. Well, I should say that there is on Twitter. I did actually do a poll a while ago about which one of 3 teams had the most deluded fans, and I'm not going to say who it is because I'll discuss that tonight on the podcast. So make sure you tune in. Is it tomorrow when it'll be up and live?
Yeah, so it's getting recorded tonight. As you, I really hope you know. Anyway, it's getting recorded tonight, but I'll edit it tonight, and I'll have it set to go up for about 11 o'clock. Is what I'm aiming for. Is when I'll get it all done. It'll be on Spotify. I'll have that set published to go up at 10. So if you're out and about and want to get to listen, it's the same over on Spotify. Just find that in there. That'll go up on my Twitter page as well. But once it's processed through the app that I'm using, it will be on YouTube as soon as I get up and start processing it.
Indeed. And the advantage you've got is that you can listen to us without having to look at us.
I know, that's a brilliant thing. I made sure no one has to see our ugly faces, mate.
That's where I go wrong, you see. Scott, thanks for popping in the chat and moderating. Do appreciate it. David, thank you very much for popping in as well. Elton, I know you're not here. I can see you're not in. I don't know if you're listening at all. I love talking to Elton. He's actually sent me his number, so we're gonna have a chat tomorrow off screen. So he loves talking football. I love talking football. We all love talking football. That's what we're here for. Thanks very much, Brad, and I will see you in 40 minutes.
Yeah, see you, mate.
Thanks very much, mate. Cheers.
No worries.
Oh, it's now, by the way, just it's 2-0.
Useless, man, you know. Anyway,
20 minutes, it's 2-0. At this rate, it could be 6 or 7. Oh, dear.
Hold on. I'm getting signals. Southampton are upset that Manchester United are trying to go for their 9-0 trophy.
That is very, very true. I'm just looking to see if I've got anything suitable to play for Man United. Maybe just this. Oh, dearie me. See you at 9, Brad. Thanks very much, mate.
No worries, matey. See you then.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks to Brad. He stood in there for Elton. Thanks very much to Brad for doing that. And Elton, mate, I will ring you tomorrow. We'll have a chat. Get your grandson round. We'll see if we can get this working and get you on. If not for the watch along for the post-match, which I'll be back with Brad again. I mean, me and Brad, we might as well just say we live together. Why not? No, I appreciate Brad coming on there. Thank you very much. And I will be back at 9 o'clock with the aforementioned Brad and Steve Leinix, an ex-player, when we'll be doing our prediction league. So thank you for listening. If you have been listening on your favourite podcast platform, we are available across all the main platforms, including... Scott, that's naughty. That's naughty, Scott. But very, very funny. We're available on all the main podcast platforms, like I say, Amazon. Oh dear, so Alex doesn't look happy. Amazon, we're on Apple iTunes, Google, Spotify, and many, many others. Wherever you listen to us, just search Leicester Till I Die and you'll find us. And obviously, if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Please smash the likes, share it if you're able to, and please subscribe to the channel. You can turn notifications off if you don't want to get bothered every time I go live. Back at 9 o'clock with the prediction, so I'll see you then. Good night, stay safe, see you in 40.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
That's